Welcome to another episode of the Black Eskimo podcast. I am your host, David DaCosta. When I think about Brand Nubian in the context of, we'll call it the Black empowerment movement, I think Public Enemy were the first group that I can recall. Because when I think about 86, 85, 84, I don't really recall anybody really talking about anything conscious until Public Enemy. I think Public Enemy, you had Poor Righteous Teachers, you had BDP, you had Brand Nubian, you had X-Clan. Like, there was a whole movement. I would think up to about 87 to 91. Was there something going on behind the scenes that encouraged you guys? I mean, obviously I know you don't have Acknowledge Yourself and being plugged into that world, but what was going on in the streets of New York in the late 80s into the early 90s in terms of why there was this need to put out Black empowerment based music? Just curious to know.
Like you first said,
Yep.
me myself, I had knowledge of self, meaning I became a member of the 5% Nation when I was about 15 years old.
Ah, okay.
So, you start out, you go through the ranks, you're a student, and then you become a teacher, So I was somebody who, I had a lot of influence in the 5% Nation in my city, in New Rochelle. It was brothers my age that influenced a lot of people in our city to get knowledge of self. It was like me and my crew, like we the ones that helped proliferate it on the street and make it cool. So as soon as I got it, I always kind of was intertwining hip hop and knowledge of self. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I started as a DJ. So first I used to make tapes where I would take Malcolm X speeches, like the Ballad and the Bullet and stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
I put rape beats under them and stuff like
Ah, okay.
that. And I felt like that was a way to help, teach people without them knowing they were being taught. Because that happened to me when I used to listen to the world famous Supreme Team on WHBI. They had 5% influenced music, and they were talking mathematics, but I didn't know what they were talking about. I just thought it was dope hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until I started getting knowledge, and I was like, wait a minute, this is what Supreme Team was talking about. I was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So they taught me, that's dope, I need to do that. So really, in my city, like, when Rakim first came out,
Mm-hmm.
people thought that was me.
Okay.
It was like, yo, did you make a record? Because they knew I was hip hop. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
My age range. See, Pooh Bah's a little bit older than me. So you had hip hop dudes that was a little older in their show, but like for my age group, I was that guy. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just
Mm-hmm.
knew me. Like, you know what I mean? They
Oh,
knew
yeah.
KD, and then they knew Lord-Jamar. Once I took my righteous name and I started rocking like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, long story short, so what, 15, 16, 17, 18. By the time I'm Brand Nubian, I'm like 21 years old. And I'm deep into this knowledge of self. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I hang with mostly only gods, and you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just into like mad conscious shit. And like New York at that time had a very conscious spirit, especially in Harlem.
Uh-huh.
So coming from New Rochelle, Harlem was only a 30-minute drive. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we hop on the train real quick, and it's just as long. Maybe we can get there in 20 minutes on the train on the Metro North.
Mm-hmm.
So long story short, we used to be in Harlem a lot, 125th, and you know what I mean?
Ah.
That was like the
Apollo.
Yes,
Yeah.
but that strip right there,
Yep.
like the cultural mecca of, I want to say, the world at that time. You know what I mean? Like, there was mad literature out there, mad garments,
Mm-hmm.
food. It was just culture. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And you just felt an embrace of knowledge and You know, you had places like the Africa House and just all these different cultural, um, just this whole cultural vibration that was reverberating through Harlem at the time. And it actually was all through New York, but definitely Harlem.
But even the history of Harlem though, going back decades before that.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, well, that's where the father-in-law started his work at. That's where Malcolm was, you know, Hotel Teresa and all of that. That's 125th Street right there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So, Brooklyn also had that kind of energy too, though. Like, and I think once they killed Harlem by shutting down all the vendors, Brooklyn almost took over as far as having that black spirit, that Renaissance spirit, and that Brooklyn. So I was part of that whole Brooklyn Renaissance that was going on at the time.
Okay. You know, I was thinking the other day I have not seen Brand Nubian in concert, but you guys came to Toronto in '93. And it's funny, I remember that show was being promoted, and it was Brand Nubian, Diamond D, and Showbiz and AG. I was like, that show is not going to happen. And I knew it wasn't going to happen because I did not know the promoter. And I've been going to shows since the 80s in Toronto. I was like, okay. And I remember some friends of mine were like, we're going. I go, dude, don't go to that show, man. It's not going to happen, man. And sure enough, Diamond didn't show up. Showbiz didn't show up. You guys showed up, and I think somebody threw a stink bomb and messed up your show. That's what I heard. I didn't go to the show, so I don't know. But you guys did.
What's with Toronto and stink bombs? Because
because it happened at KRS-One show.
Yeah. What the hell's going on?
I don't know. You know what though?
What's so funny is I remember when people used to do this. Whatever happened? Do we still have stink bombs?
I don't think so. But I know that it happened. I heard it happened there, and it definitely happened at the KRS-One show I saw in '94. And I was like, what is up with the stink bomb thing? What is that? But with you guys, so I said I never got to see Brand Nubian in concert. Never got to see.
I've been there 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because you guys are very strict
with the border. Yeah, because Wu-Tang only came to Toronto officially. I know they were here with Nas last year for their tour, but they didn't get to come at the height of their career. Like in '93, '94, they didn't get to come because they couldn't get through. And I think, but a lot of people, I tell you, it's funny, people don't realize this, but I was talking to someone years ago, some editor at one of these magazines, and hip-hop shows have been coming to Toronto since the 80s. Like, I mean, I can tell, like, Run DMC were here in, like, 85, LL, right on, you name it. MC Shan, BDP, you go down, I mean, anyone you could think of has come to Toronto for the most part, provided they didn't have a criminal record.
Right, they must have all been some good guys.
I'm trying to tell you.
If you think about it, LL started when he was like 16. He was making records. So
right.
What kind of criminal record could he really have?
But he was moving with some people though.
Right.
Yeah.
They couldn't get across the board.
They couldn't get across the board.
That was good. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now me. I think we've only been to Canada like 3 times.
Okay.
The first time without Pooh Bah.
Right.
And we did that show, what's it called? Electric Circus or something?
Oh, right on. Yep.
So we did that, but Pooh Bah wasn't there.
Ah.
And this was during the first album. It was weird.
Oh, really? Okay.
It was, I think. Was that during the first?
I just remember the first time I remember was '93. I don't remember, beyond that I'm not sure.
Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't. No, maybe we was on our own at that time. I do remember coming there and when Punks Jump Up was big.
Yes.
I remember that.
That was big. It was big. Yeah, it was very big. Like in the underground clubs and concerts I used to go, parties I used to go to, that song was
there was
crazy play. Yeah.
Then one time we went, I think it was like during the Foundation album.
Ah.
We're with Pooh Bah now.
Right on.
And they let us in, but they stopped us and they were like, all right, y'all got, we ran your shit and it turns out some of y'all got some criminal records, but here's what we do. If you pay this amount of money each, for each person that got a charge, we're gonna let you in.
Really?
Yes, but this was a one-time thing.
Okay.
So you were able to pay this one time to get in. Then the next time we went, and we had a tour bus and everything, and we were trying to get in from the West Coast. I think we had to go to Vancouver.
Okay.
So we're on the West Coast border, and they stopped us, and we're thinking, we'll just pay the money. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Nope. You can't.
No can do. No can do.
Turn around and all of that.
And I don't need you to get into any real detail because you spoken about it. Godfrey's spoken about it. But Vlad absolutely changed my perception of you. I didn't even know your personality. I knew you from a musical standpoint, and I knew you had pretty solid views on things racially and politically. But when I heard you on that network there, or that platform, I'm thinking, damn, Lord-Jamar is unfiltered. He just says whatever he wants to say. I'm like, holy shit. So, I mean, and when I saw the views, I'm like, people are loving this shit. They're loving what he's saying. So it's funny, I was listening to you last night or yesterday, and you made reference to this this Jack Harlow guy and this being a guest in hip hop. That's hilarious. And you're like, who said that? Who told him that? And it's like, you think, I mean, some of the things you were saying on that platform, and to think now you have your own podcast. I mean, is this something, has this always been you in terms of being outspoken, being opinionated? And how did that affect you? Because on some level, as much as you have a more laid back demeanor, I mean, you could be animated when you're ready, but for the most part, you're cool and laid back. But how did that affect you in terms of this spike in popularity? It's like, because I'm sure people are like, who the hell is Lord-Jamar? Who's Lord-Jamar? I mean, me as a fan of your, the group for all these years, I was like, wow, Lord-Jamar this is like Lord-Jamar 2.0. What did it affect you in any way in terms of how people responded to your opinions?
Not really.
Not really?
See, first of all, this has always been me.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you were a friend of mine, then you would know that I'm somebody that, we can go into the wee hours with intellectual conversations. We can also laugh our asses off. We can take it in many different directions. And I always felt like, first of all, if you look back in the days to Brand Nubian interviews, I would mostly be the one making the most sense.
Okay.
In the interviews. I'm just saying, Uba didn't really like to do interviews like that. And Sadat is not the greatest at doing interviews, I'm going to be honest. You know what I mean? He'll go off on a tangent, and then I'll have to come back and kind of answer the question what they're really trying to get to. But anyway, so I don't know. I always felt like, people kind of need to hear me talk. Like, I have valuable shit to say. Like how I always just looked at myself. Like, people need to hear what I have to say. And so I used to watch Homeboy's channel, and I used to think in my mind, like, damn, I like what they do here. Should I be a great guest on here? You know what I mean? Like, and then one day, I just happened to had said something about Kanye and the skirts and all of that, and one of these little blogs or whatever picked it up and was like, yo, can we do an interview with you? But this was not an on-camera interview. This was just like a write-up type of thing. And so after I did that, I guess that got on Vlad's radar. Anyway, so yeah, and then Homeboy called me. I went up there, said what he asked me would I be willing to talk about it, said what I had to say, and the rest is history.
History. Enter Yanadameen Godcast. I'm like, wow. When I was like, he's not playing with this. He's not playing at all. But
people badgering me to do that. Like, I never came in here thinking that, you know what, I want to start a podcast and all that. People kept saying, you need to start a podcast. You need to have your own podcast. You should do a podcast. All right.
how long's it been now? How long's it been?
5 years.
It's crazy. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy. Because I remember when you just started. It's crazy.
1,000 subscribers on YouTube.
I'm telling you. It's crazy.
And I don't even go as hard as some of these dudes go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, some of these dudes be going live every day, like trying to milk the money. Like,
oh yeah.
Go on when I'm ready to go on.
That's it, and that's how it should be. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my podcast is 4 years old now, and I probably put up maybe 5-6 episodes per month. I don't overdo it, but I enjoy doing it. So I do it when I feel like it. Have you heard about the situation with Jada Pinkett Smith's film or series, the Cleopatra series, and how? No. Oh yeah. So basically, because I don't regard Arab people as Egyptians. I believe they're Arabs living in Egypt. They're not real Egyptians as far as I'm concerned. But they're basically saying that her depiction of Cleopatra is inaccurate. That she's not black. And I've always heard that she was part Greek, part Egyptian. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't there, so I don't know. But that's the speculation I hear. But there's been a lot of backlash against Netflix for portraying her as being part black, because she's seen as part black in the series. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, that's just more of the oppressor trying to manipulate the narrative. These are the people with the budgets and all of that. Whoever's in control wants to control the narrative. So these people that are in control of Egypt right now happen to be Arabs.
Yeah.
And they don't want to admit that the Egypt of antiquity were original people.
Mm-hmm.
And original is what we would call black today.
Right on.
And yeah, it's not surprising to me. Yeah, and the fact that they're even being heard, that their voices are being heard, is because they have money and they have influence. And so that's why you're even asking me this question, right?
Yeah, now. That's it.
There's plenty of stuff that is culturally inaccurate all the time in movies. They depict Jesus as a blue-eyed white man and all that type of shit.
Well, Elizabeth Taylor was depicting Cleopatra. Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Were the Arabs up in arms at that time?
Yeah.
Probably not, because she looked similar probably to an Arab, and to them that was cool.
Yeah.
But once you Africanize something, then it's a problem.
No, you're right on that. You're completely right on that. No, I just found it interesting because I'm thinking, Jada Pinkett, after all this whole Oscars slap crap, and then now she's doing something conscious and positive, which I think is good.
That thing was fake as hell.
Well, I don't know. I can't.
I'm telling you.
I believe you.
As an actor.
Yep.
As an actor, right?
Yep.
I know about hitting your mark.
Yes.
I'm telling you, if you look back.
Yep.
Film. Both of those guys hit their mark. There were lines on the stage. Everybody's looking up at the slap. Nobody's looking down at their feet.
Okay.
You look at this afterwards.
Yep.
And you can be like, Lord-Jamar was right.
Yep.
Fucking Chris Rock steps down. He steps right onto his mark because he was close to it. So he goes like this with his foot. Will Smith walks up, and there was like these lines that look like a decoration. But he stops right at this line to where he almost had to do a half a step to make sure that he hit the mark. You're going to look back at it later.
I don't believe in that industry anyway. So it's just a lot of nonsense. Yeah, but
And they're like, why would he do that? You'll find out.
I believe you. But in closing though, 50th anniversary of hip hop culture. I mean, I guess I got to ask you this. What was your introduction to the culture?
What initially got me embracing hip-hop was a kid that lived in my building named Eddie Hull. Okay, Eddie Hull was a little bit older than me. He was, he was a cool guy. He had a cool-ass afro and, and he went to junior high school before I did, because he was older. So we were like a year or two behind him. So he's in junior high school, and now he's getting exposed to hip-hop. And he's bringing it back around the way. So he's playing King Tim the Third, and he's saying little raps. Yes, yes, y'all. And, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And through him, we started hearing tapes and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Zulu Nation, Cold Crush, and that's all I needed. From then, I was just.
That was it.
That was it. I didn't need Eddie Hall anymore. He was just the spark. Like, but after that, I was just like, because, you know, as a kid, you look at, like, we used to look at Michael Jackson and be like, he's the prototype of a young black performer.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were a young black male, you wanted to be like Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
But me, a realist, I'm like, damn, I can hold a note, but I know I can't sing as good as Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's keep it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I can dance like this motherfucker. I can't spin like I'm spinning. I can't dance like this nigga.
Mm-hmm.
So when hip hop came out, it was like, this is a way you could sing without singing.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a way that, like, street niggas could sing.
Mm-hmm.
Hard, you know, it's like some hard shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so you don't have to sing all falsetto and all of that. Like, when the Cold Crush was singing and doing routines, yo, they can't even really sing, but it sounded manly, and I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
I can do this. And then I started, you know, it's still early, so I'm calculating my odds. I'm like, damn, you know, hip hop is kind of just in like a New York thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Whereas baseball and football and all of that is all around the country. People play baseball in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm competing against the whole world because I used to play sports and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, damn, am I going to be that good? Like, by the time what if I get hurt? And da-da-da-da-da. Like, I'm really calculating in my mind my odds.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, got better odds doing some hip-hop shit than some sports shit.
That's
You know
it.
what I mean?
That's it.
And that's what I went after.
Very interesting.
Well, from a young age, I knew it.
Oh, yeah. Dope. Brother, man, I appreciate your time. What I will do is I'm going to post the interview on Monday. So I'll send you a link. But once again, I appreciate your time. Good talking. It continued success with everything. With the production, with the podcast, with everything. All right?
This getting ready to be my year for production. I just want to say I got so many artists right now that, like, I got so many placements that's out here.
Beautiful, man.
LF artists that you're going to be like, Lord-Jamar did that? Like,
well, I know you've been producing since the Nubians. I know that. Since I think it was the second album, right?
Right. Well, you know, the first the first thing that I ever produced, like where Pooh Bah wasn't there, was Concerto in X minor.
Dope. With back then it was Derek X. Yeah.
Right. So now, I didn't find the sample or nothing like that, but I put it together. Like I looped it, I arranged it.
Okay. You know? So you going back with it then as a producer? Okay, right. Okay.
And Dance to My Ministry, I did that one as well.
Okay. And those are like my two favorite songs on that album. Interesting.
Alamo found the beat though. Alamo found record.
Okay.
But again, and I did all the scratching too. I did the scratching.
What? Oh, that's right. You used to be a DJ. I remember that. Yeah.
Most of the stuff on the first album was me scratching. Not all of it though. Okay. Some was Jazzy J. But then everything on the second album. Anytime you hear scratching, usually on a Brand Nubian record, is going to be me. You know?
Dope. Well, I definitely want to hear some of that production. I know I heard you played some of it on the podcast, but you know, I'm sure you gotta tease us with some more of that stuff for sure.
You know, my man, look out for a dude named Great God. I got a whole project with my man Smiley the Ghetto. Well, he calls himself Smiley the Ghetto Child, but I don't like the child.
The child part. Okay.
Yeah, he's a grown ass man.
That's it.
My man Smiley the Ghetto got like 2 joints if you go on his IG page.
Okay.
Yeah, he got 2 videos that he did.
Great success with everything, for sure. All right?
Sure.
All right, take care of yourself.
You too, bro.
Cool.
Peace.